What's up, guys? This is Jake Alexander with Casual E-commerce, and in this video I'm going to be going over a complete step-by-step advanced Facebook ads retargeting theory and blueprint, the one that I personally utilize to go ahead and set up retarget campaigns for my e-commerce stores. So in this video we're going to be breaking down the theory and the reasoning behind that theory, and then I'm going to be showing you how you can go ahead and utilize this for yourself. Now, since this is an advanced tutorial, I'm operating under the notion that I assume that everyone watching this video knows how to do basic things within Facebook Ads Manager, such as create audiences, custom audiences, and things of the sort. So if you don't know how to do that, just a heads up, that's not going to be in this video. We're just going to be covering the theory and the actual blueprint that you can go ahead and, I guess, copy and paste and implement into your own retargeting campaigns. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the video. So the basics with retargeting is we are showing ads to people that have previously performed an action on our store. So for example, they could have viewed content, added something to cart, or initiated a checkout. And when we're going to be starting retargeting is typically I like to start retargeting around 100 visitors per day. So as soon as you start getting about 100 visitors per day to your store, this will be a good time to go ahead and start retargeting. So this is a very low number. It's not very hard to get 100 visitors per day. You'll probably start getting this really soon within the testing period. So essentially you're going to be starting retargeting almost immediately. And then as far as budgeting our campaign goes, we're going to set it at around $5 to $10 per day based on increments of 100 daily visitors. So if we're averaging 100 visitors per day, then our budget can be $5 to $10. 200 visitors per day could be $10 to $20, and so on and so forth. We can scale incrementally, and obviously this is just a basic number to go ahead and use as an initial barometer, but you can go ahead and change this based on the results you're getting. So if you're getting a really high return on ad spend from your retargeting, then maybe you want to up the budget even if your visitor count hasn't risen to the next incremental level yet. This is just a good baseline to use. So with that said, I wanted to quickly go over the copy before we get into the actual campaign setup, which is going to be the meat and potatoes of this video. So the copy, I feel like with retargeting is actually pretty simple. It's not really hard to do. So it's not something we really need to focus a lot of our time on in this video. So I just wanted to go ahead and let you know that you just need to keep it simple. So when you're writing your retargeting ads, just remember these 3 bullet points, these 3 steps for each ad. So step 1 is going to be call out the audience, so get their attention. So directly call them out like, hey. And then step 2 is going to be tell them to come back to your website. And then step 3 is going to be to give them incentive and utilize scarcity. Now, depending on which level of the retargeting funnel you're in, you're not going to always implement an incentive. This is normally for later on in the funnel, for the bottom of the funnel, which we're going to be covering a little bit later in this video. So just remember these 3 steps when you're writing your ads. And as you can see, I put a couple of example retargeting ads that I had. I went ahead and put them up on the screen here. So if you want to go ahead and pause the video, you can see that I keep it extremely simple. I follow these 3 steps, and I don't do anything fancy with the ad copy itself at all. And I recommend that you do the same, that you keep it simple. So that pretty much covers ad copy, and now we're going to get into the actual campaign setup. And this is where I feel like my retargeting strategy may differentiate from a lot of people that don't really dive super deep into retargeting. So a lot of times, the most common way to set up retargeting is just to go ahead and retarget people that have visited your website and not purchased, and that's it. And they'll go ahead and lump that into one big audience, and they'll go ahead and just hit them with just one single ad with one copy variation. And while this is effective, because retargeting is really powerful, so while this is effective and it can work, if you go ahead and break down your retargeting and get a lot more advanced with the audience selection and things like that, you can start to go ahead and get a lot higher of a return on ad spend from your retargeting campaign if you go ahead and break it down to these more in-depth levels, which I'm going to be going through now. So with this campaign setup, we're going to have one retargeting campaign, and then within that campaign we're going to have multiple ad sets, and then within these ad sets we're going to have multiple ads within each ad set. So each ad set is going to be targeting a different section or sector of our retargeting audience. So each ad set is just going to represent a different audience within our overall retargeting audience. So for example, we could have view content, add to cart, initiate checkout, people that viewed our video ad, people that engage with our ads. These are just examples, and I'll be showing you the exact ones to go ahead and create an audience for in the next slide. So within each ad set, we're also going to have multiple ad creatives. So this is something that also not a lot of people go ahead and implement, which is testing out multiple different ad creatives within an ad set itself. So we could have, say, one retargeting ad set within our retargeting campaign. Say it's our initiate checkout one, but within that initiate checkout audience, we can have 5 or 6 different ad creatives on their own. So we could have one could be the same video ad that we used before. One could be an alteration of that video ad, so maybe we changed up the first 5 seconds of it so it's a different scroll stopper. We could go ahead and use a completely different video. So for example, if you went out there and you were testing a product, you probably created multiple different video ads on that product, because odds are the more video ads you create and test, the more likely you're going to find one that works. However, if you have maybe one that's not performing so well on the lead ad, you still have that video ad, and you can go ahead and throw it in your retargeting campaign and see how it performs there, just so that way people don't get ad fatigue from seeing the same ad creative over and over again. So what you want to do is go ahead and just mash a bunch of different creatives inside of these ad sets. So we can use different alterations of videos, like I said. We can use different videos. We can just use plain static images of the photo. It could be a product customer photo as well. So it could be like a picture of the customer using the product, a picture of the customer with the product, engaging with the product, depending on what the product is. It could be a testimonial style photo, or it could literally just be like a plain stock photo style where it's just like the product on a blank white background. And we're going to have all of these different variations of ad creatives inside of each individual ad set that we have, and this is going to allow our retargeting audience to not get fatigued by seeing the same thing all the time, and it's also going to show us which images and videos are going to be performing at a higher level. So as you can see already, this campaign setup is going to be a lot more in depth. It's going to be a lot deeper and more advanced, more technical than most of the retargeting that you're probably already using right now. And when you go ahead and you go this deep into your retargeting, you're going to notice that you're going to get a lot cheaper clicks, and you're going to get cheaper purchases, and your return on ad spend is going to go up. So now we're going to go ahead and get into the actual audiences themselves. So the first sector of audiences within our retargeting campaign is going to be the top of our funnel audiences. So a quick note, with each one of these audiences, we're going to exclude all website visitors from these audiences, because we're going to be targeting them later on in the funnel. So as you can see, I have 5 different audiences here, and I would recommend utilizing all 5 of these. So the first one is 50% video viewers. So these are people that viewed 50% of our video ad. And then we are going to, like I said, make sure you exclude website visitors, because we don't want to target website visitors here. So this audience in particular is going to be people that viewed 50% of our ad, but didn't click over to our website. And then also we're going to exclude people that viewed 75% of the video, or 95. I put 75/95, but obviously if you exclude 75% video viewers, that's automatically by default going to go ahead and exclude 95% video viewers. So what you would do is you're going to exclude anyone that clicked on, anyone that visited the website, exclude anyone that viewed 75% of the video, and we're also going to set it to where these are only people that perform this action in the last 7 days, because we want people that are really hot, really fresh. So that means this specific audience is going to be hyper-targeted. It's going to be people that have viewed 50% of the video, but under 75% of the video haven't clicked over to our website, and it's in the last 7 days. So you can see how hyper-targeted we're getting with each one of these audiences. And the next one's going to be people that have viewed 75% of our video, but we're going to exclude, obviously, website visitors, exclude people that have seen 95% of the video, and then this is going to be in the last 7 days as well. And then our next audience is going to be people that have viewed 95% of the video, and then this is going to be within the last 7 days, excluding website visitors. And then our next two are going to be Instagram profile engagement and then Facebook page engagement. So when you're creating a custom audience, you'll see an option. It's Facebook page, interaction with Facebook page, or interaction with Instagram business profile. And then within those sections, there's going to be subsections where we can go ahead and select interacted with an ad on our profile, and that is the option that I'm talking about. And then we're going to go ahead and create that audience for people that have done that within the last 7 days as well. So as you can see with these audiences, these are people that are at the top of our funnel. It's more targeted than cold traffic because these people have engaged with our ad. However, they haven't clicked over yet. So when we're targeting these audiences, we don't want to use any discounts or typical retargeting strategies like that because they're not deep enough into the funnel. Instead, we just want to hit them with a similar ad with a little bit of altered creative and copy, just that way it's a little bit fresh. It's not the same thing, but we can hit them with something really similar, maybe literally like the same video ad, but with a different scroll stopper. So it could be the same video ad with, a different 5 seconds or something like that. So because these people were already curious enough to engage with our ad, but not curious enough to click over to our site, so a tweaked ad could get them to click. And we can test out different things as well. You can obviously, like I was saying earlier, test out a completely different video ad if you want. At this point in the funnel, you probably want to stick with hitting them with another video. Hitting them with an image, a static image, might not be as effective as that would be later on in the funnel. So at this point, I would stick with altered video ads. So once we have these 5 custom audiences created and then set up within our ad campaign, we're going to go ahead and move on to the bottom of the funnel. So now the bottom of the funnel is going to include these 3 audiences. So it's going to be website visitors and or viewed product. And I've based this entire retargeting strategy around a single product store strategy because that's the strategy that I use and that I teach. However, if you are selling multiple products in like general or niche store, you might have to do some slight alterations to this strategy, but it's still going to be effective. But I just wanted to go ahead and put it out there that this strategy is based off of a single product store just because that's what I'm familiar with. So the first audience is going to be people that have visited our website and or viewed our product. And this is going to be in the last 7 days, just like before. And then we're going to exclude everyone that added to cart. And then our next audience is going to be people that added to cart. And then we're going to exclude people that initiated checkout and in the last 7 days. And then our next audience is going to be people that initiated checkout. And then we're going to exclude people that purchased. And then this is also going to be in the last 7 days. So when we're targeting these audiences, we can now start implementing discounts because these people are at the bottom of the funnel. You've already expressed enough interest to engage with our website, and they've clicked on our ads, and they've, performed some sort of action on our website, but they haven't purchased yet. So at this point, we want to try and give them an incentive to close the sale. So discounts could be, free shipping, a certain percentage off the order, or a certain dollar amount off, etc., etc. And you can reference back to the copy section earlier in the video for how to go ahead and implement this. It's really simple. It's not something you need to overcomplicate. So after this, we're going to have the third section of this retargeting theory, which is the stragglers. So these are just going to be the people that are still in our retargeting audiences, but they're older. They've been here for a while. So if you noticed, every single one of the audiences in the previous two sections of the campaign setup are all people that have interacted somehow in the last 7 days. Now, this section of our audience is going to be people that have interacted beyond 7 days. So it's going to be just website visitors in the last 30 days, but we're going to exclude people in the last 7 because people in the last 7 are obviously already being targeted by other ad sets. And we're also going to exclude purchase. Now, I don't go as in depth and deep with the stragglers, as I like to call them, because these people have already been through our retargeting funnel. So I'm not going to go ahead and send them through another duplicate retargeting funnel because they've already been through it within the first 7 days. So I'm not going to go ahead and send them through the same thing again. But I'm also not just going to let them fly away in the wind because, we have this audience here, so we might as well try and get the sale because it's still going to be more efficient than cold traffic. So when we're targeting this audience, we can try and use a couple last-ditch efforts, like maybe larger discounts to get them to come back and complete the purchase. And things like testimonials can be effective at this stage of retargeting because that's something that can give the customer a little bit more confidence in coming back. Or maybe you can try and use a creative that shows the product in a different light or a different angle. You can try and market it from a different angle. Obviously, this is going to vary product to product, so it's going to hugely depend on what the product is. But at this point, we just need to try and get really creative. We need to give them a larger discount or give them a different incentive or try and paint the product in a different light to kind of get them interested and try and get them to come back. But like I said, we're not going to go ahead and set up a huge funnel with 8 different audiences like we did for the people that are hot in the last 7 days because these people have already been through that funnel. However, like I said, this is still more targeted and more efficient than cold traffic, so we can still manage to get a good return on ad spend from this, but it's not something I would dedicate as much effort into as I would for the people that are fresh within the last 7 days. So at this point, we have our entire retargeting campaign set up, and this is we have a very concrete, in-depth retargeting campaign set up at this point, so we have all of our bases covered. We're trying a bunch of different audiences, we're trying different creatives, and we're trying different ad copy and things like that. So you're essentially ahead of 99% of other people that are doing retargeting already because, like I said, most of them just have one ad set with one ad, and they're only retargeting people that haven't bought, and that's it. So at this point, you should already be getting better numbers than everyone else. However, at this point, we want to analyze data, and we obviously want to try and maximize our current results. So out of all 3 of the stages of our retargeting setup, the bottom of the funnel is where most of our profit is going to be generated. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at your retargeting data every day, or however often you check your ads. I recommend every day. Just keep in mind that the highest return on ad spend is most likely going to be coming from the audiences that are the bottom of the funnel audiences because they're the warmest. So just keep that in mind. So we're going to be checking our ads and looking at the ad sets and the audiences, and we're going to see which ones are performing the best, and we're just going to measure this very easily by looking at the return on ad spend. Now, since it's retargeting, a lot of these should be pretty profitable, especially at the bottom of the funnel. You'll notice normally bottom of the funnel, each bottom of the funnel audience is normally relatively profitable. And then we're going to look at which ad creatives are performing the best within each ad set because this gives us further insight into how we can optimize in the future. So if we have certain creatives, like a certain video or a certain photo that's just not performing well at all, we can go ahead and just turn that one off. And if we have one that's doing a lot better than others, we can go ahead and try and utilize that more throughout other ad sets. So when we're analyzing the top of the funnel, it's important to keep in mind that your return on ad spend is not going to be as good as the bottom of the funnel, like I previously stated. And most of the time, it's not even going to be close, and that's because those people haven't even clicked on your website before. But it's important to keep in mind that the top of the funnel ads are getting people into the bottom of the funnel, because when someone clicks on one of your ads, so let's say someone in the top of the funnel would be, for example, 75% video viewer. So this is someone that's never clicked on your site before. So they see one of your top of the funnel ads, and now they clicked over to your site. Even if they haven't bought right there, they're now in the bottom of the funnel, and they're going to be hit with the bottom of the funnel ads. So if your bottom of the funnel return on ad spend is really good, then you want to keep sending people to the bottom of the funnel. So that's one thing to keep in mind with the top of the funnel ads, which is why it's kind of tricky, which is, sometimes there's a gray area. So if there's a top of the funnel ad that's, let's say, breaking even, it might be worth keeping it on, because you're essentially getting people into the bottom of the funnel for completely free. So let's say your bottom of the funnel is on average making a 3x return on ad spend profit wise, and you have, let's say, 2 audiences within the top of the funnel that are only breaking even. Well, you're essentially printing money at that point, because you're getting people into the bottom of the funnel that, from the data you're looking at, is getting a 3x return. You're getting people to the bottom of the funnel for free. So you're getting people to the bottom of the funnel a lot cheaper than you would just from cold traffic. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, obviously, there's certain limitations, though. If you have things on the top of the funnel that just aren't performing well at all, then, they need to be cut. So in order to look at things like this, you want to look just beyond the return on ad spend for the top of the funnel. So you want to compare metrics like the cost per click, and then compare that with your cold traffic ads. So if your cost per click and the top of the funnel is still way better than the cost per click on your cold traffic ads that you're running, and your bottom of the funnel is still really profitable, then you might want to consider keeping that running, even if it's only break even, or if it's, let's say, losing a little bit of money, because you're still getting traffic in a lot cheaper than you are from the cold traffic. Now, most of the time, the case is going to be that the top of the funnel is going to be break even or slightly profitable. So you normally don't have to worry about it too much. However, in the instances where it might not be profitable, you have to look at things like the cost per click and compare that to your cold traffic to see whether it's worth keeping it running. And most of the time you want it to at least be break even. Like I said, if it's not, then you probably want to go ahead and cut it. But there might be certain instances where you don't. But in most cases, if you just want to keep it really simple, you want to make sure that the top of the funnel is at least breaking even. But it's important to note that the return on ad spend, there's going to be a discrepancy between the top of the funnel and the bottom of the funnel. So, it's not something to be concerned about when you see it. That's just going to happen. So, like I said, certain audiences, specifically in the top of the funnel, will sometimes not perform optimally. So in this case, you just need to kill the ad set. Most of the time, you don't need to kill things in the bottom of the funnel, because most of the time, all of those ad sets, those audiences are going to be profitable. So most of the time, it's going to be the top of the funnel ones that may not be profitable. So you may need to tweak those and kill off ones that aren't doing as well. So another thing you can try and do is look at the return on ad spend of the entire retargeting campaign as a whole and focus on raising this, because this is another kind of a broad bird's eye view of how your retargeting as a whole is looking, and then keep track of the trends of that, because obviously certain ad sets within your retargeting campaign may be doing really well, but overall the money's being spent at the campaign level, meaning we're spending a certain amount of money on this campaign. So we want to raise the return on ad spend overall at the campaign level. So this is a good way to kind of judge how efficient your retargeting is as a whole. Now, with that said, that's going to be it for this video. If you have any questions regarding retargeting or need any further explanation, let me know in the comment section down below. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel for more content, and I'll see you guys in the next one.